This is a tutorial on how to pay rent using the BILT MasterCard. We'll go through how to pay rent using the card and go through all the benefits that come with the card and why you should get this card in 2023. First things first, let's go over how to pay rent using the check, as I assume that most people are going to be renting at homes. When you get the BILT MasterCard, you actually get this really cool pamphlet which has a QR code on it where you can scan it. And when you scan the QR code, you can actually scan it with your phone and it connects your card to the app. Then you scan the code, you make a login and your password, and then there you go, you have an account with BILT. Pretty typical stuff for any card that you get. You just need to make an account and boom, you're ready to go. Now, one thing that you should know is that you can only use the app to pay for rent. You can go online on the browser, but you can't pay rent. If you try to pay rent on the browser, it just tells you to download the app. So the third to the right, there's a pay rent tab. And then you'll see that there's two options, pay rent online and pay by check. In this example, we're gonna go for the pay by check option. Now you'll see that there's two options, payable to and delivery address. For the payable to, you wanna put your landlord or whoever you're gonna be paying for rent. Now for the delivery address, you could either put your landlord's address or your own address and just hand it over to him after you received it. For me personally, I just like to send my check to my landlord so he can get it. I don't have to hand it over to him. And after this, it'll ask you what's your rent this month, and you just put the exact amount that you need to pay for rent. My rent for my house is gonna be $2,700, so I'm just gonna put that in and we'll go to the next button. Now it says check payment details. It says payable to, delivery address, and check memo. For the check memo, you just want to put what you're paying for, what the rent is for, which month it is for, and that's what I like to do personally. Now it says delivery method on the bottom. You can press change if you want faster delivery times. I just like to go for standard so I don't have to pay anything extra. You can do first class, FedEx 2-day, FedEx standard overnight, but these are going to cost you extra. They're going to go really fast to your landlord, but I would recommend just using the first one. So it says that usually it takes 7 days to get there, but in my experience, it actually takes around 2 weeks. So make sure you plan at least 2 weeks ahead before sending out this check. Now, BILT will send out a check on your behalf and they'll charge your card just like you were to swipe your card at a gas station for whatever your rent money is. Now, if you scroll down to the app, you'll see something called BILT Protect Debit, and this is a really cool feature that they allow, guys. Now, what's really cool about BILT Protect is that they just take money out of your bank account and they never touch your credit card statement. For example, my credit limit on this card is going to be $7,500. However, if they were to take money out of my credit limit, I would be charged $3,000 over my $7,500, which would be a terrible credit utilization. But because I use BILT Protect Debit, they just take money straight out of my bank account, and that $7,500 credit limit is never even touched. This is really cool because it keeps your credit utilization low, and that's what increases your credit score. So even if your rent was $10,000 and your credit limit is $7,500, you could charge your rent just fine with BILT Protect. Now keep in mind, BILT only allows you to get 100,000 points on rent per year. This used to be 55,000 points, but they increased it, which is a really cool benefit too. So I always recommend using BILT Protect to keep your credit utilization low. But always make sure that you have money in your bank account before paying rent, because you'll get charged with fees if you don't. Now for the second method, let's see how you can pay rent online. Now when you go to the pay rent online tab, you can see that they give you a routing number and an account number. This is the bank account information that you're going to use to connect to your rental portal. Now I have an apartment here in LA, which I'm at right now. Let me show you the rental portal. All I need to do is add a new bank account, and it's pretty simple. I just fill out all this information. Now it's pretty simple. You just want to put your name, the routing number, the account number, and then sometimes they actually ask you for the address of your bank. So just put BILT's address, just Google it, and it worked just fine for me. So it's as simple as that. Just press pay on this bank account and your rent will be paid. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you need to swipe your card 5 times in order to get the points from rent. Now, rent actually qualifies for one of those 5 purchases, so you need 4 more swipes in order to get those points on your dashboard. I personally like to use the next 4 on dining so that I can get maximum value of my points, because I really do love BILT points. And that's really it. Just put this bank information into your rental portal and just press pay and you'll be good to go. Now let's get into why this card is my favorite card in 2023 and why you should get it, especially if you pay rent. How would you like to go to free trips all around the world for just paying rent, which is something that you have to do anyways? Well, that's why this card is so amazing, because it takes you all around the world. This year I'm going to Hawaii, next year I'm going to Paris alone, just from the BILT card. You get 1 times points on every dollar you spent on rent. For example, if you spend $3,000 on rent per month, you actually get 3,000 points by the end of the month. Now for the multipliers, you get 3 times points on dinings, 2 times points on travel, and 1 times points on everything else. While the earnings are okay, keep in mind that this is a $0 annual fee card, so there is no risk on getting this card. And for a $0 annual fee card, it has transfer partners, and their transfer partners are really good. This is also the only card that transfers to American Airlines. Now let's get into what the BILT points are actually worth. The thing about BILT is that they have amazing offers with their transfer partners. For example, 2 months ago, if you sent 1,000 BILT points to Hawaiian Airlines, you would actually get 2,000 Hawaiian Airlines miles. And for example, right now they have a really good promotion. 13,000 BILT points equals 1 free trip to Paris. So for paying 3 to 4 months of rent, you actually get a free trip to Paris. How amazing is that? I've personally never been to Paris, but this card allows me to go there at a very, very, very low cost. And the first of every month is going to be something called Rent Day, where they multiply your earnings potentials by 2. For example, it's going to be 6 times points on dining, 4 times points on travel, and 2 times points on everything else, except for rent. I think it's really funny that it's called rent day, but rent itself is not affected by the points multiplier, which I get because they'd be giving out way too many points if that was the case. And not to mention, every month on rent day, there's fun trivia questions where you can actually earn points up to like maybe 200 to 400 points per card. And now 200 to 400 points might not seem like a lot, but hey, it definitely helps in the long run, especially if you have 4 cards like me. I have a really unique situation because I have 4 different BILT cards. These 2 are for my businesses, 1 is for my apartment in LA, and 1 is for the house I have in the suburbs. Now you can imagine that after playing this trivia game 4 times, I actually get 1,600 points every month, which is going to really help me out when it comes to travel. Now even if you have 1 of these cards, 400 extra points every month that you get for free is definitely going to add up in the long run. Now it's only 1 location per card. I definitely tried 4 locations on 1 card, but then they definitely flagged me. They sent me an email that said you can't do that, so I don't want to get on their bad side, and I just decided to get 4 different cards for that reason. So make sure if you get this card, only 1 location, every 1 BILT card. Now I ran a little experiment where I used a checking and routing number for other things like an auto loan or like gym equipment for my gym, and they actually flagged me and emailed me saying that I can't do that. So make sure to only use this card for rent. So when they say you can only use the checking and routing number for rent, guys, they really mean it, and they're really on top of it actually. So what happened with that auto payment that I paid on my rent card, they actually sent me an email, denied my purchase, and I had to actually pay an extra fee on top of that. So that was pretty stupid of me to do. Now what's really cool about the BILT card is it actually comes with a lot of protections and insurance as well. So let me just read off all the protections you get off this card. You get cell phone protection of up to $800, purchase security, primary rental car coverage, no foreign transaction fees, trip delay reimbursement, and trip cancellation and interruption protection. And you get all of this for a $0 annual fee, which is insane, guys. What's really cool is that most premium credit cards actually offer only secondary car coverage, while this one offers primary. That's when you go to car rental companies and you use the BILT card, you actually don't need to buy their insurance at all. You can just rely on the BILT card. This card is literally a 10 out of 10, guys. $0 annual fee, transfer partners, protections, it has everything. So if you really want to get this card, I do have a referral link that you can use in the description below. It would really help me out and you'd be supporting the channel, and I'd be super grateful for it, guys. I'll make a more in-depth video on all the benefits you get from the card, so keep an eye out for that video soon. Now, if you want to know if the Chase Sapphire Preferred card is still worth it in 2023, then make sure to check out this video right here. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope this really helped you out on how to pay rent using the BILT card. Have fun paying that rent and earning that free travel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.